Hey, what's up out there, YouTube? Double D here, Chatoyance Dubois. Welcome back to the shop. Today we are going to be working on this piece. Not quite sure what it is. Maybe some walnut. Not sure, but we are going to put this up on the lathe, and we're going to get this put in. So it's already been cut, mainly marked a circle, cut off the corners and everything. So we're going to be putting this up on our face plate. So we'll be marking that, getting the holes drilled, putting the screws in, get that up on here, and then we'll get to turning. So probably try and do a bowl out of this. There is some cracking that we'll have to deal with, so we'll see how far that goes in. Looks like it's mostly just checking on the end. This piece doesn't seem to go down too awfully deep, as you can see here. So that could easily just be turned away as we're shaping in the rim and things and getting the face cleaned up. So we're going to give this a go, and that's what we're doing today. So stick around, let's have a little bit of fun, and we'll catch you in a bit. All right, we've got our face plate on really well, and we're going to put on the headstock. Okay, we've got clearance all the way around, so it'll turn good. And we will get to working on this. Definitely don't need any shrapnel flying at us, so get a lot of this bark off. All right. So we'll get our bowl gouge sharpened up, and then we'll get to turning. Start off right about 430 RPM and go from there. All right, we've got it sanded, we've got it branded, and now we're going to do our sanding sealer. And then we'll get to our abrasive paste and finish on the outside, and then get it flipped around. I'll let that set up for a minute or two, and then we'll see if we need to put a second coat on. All right, I did not put a second coat of sanding sealer on it. I think the one is going to be good. So I've got it spinning at a low speed right now to let it dry. Then I'm going to take this piece of Scotch-Brite and we're going to run it over it to denib it, which will smooth it out a little bit. And then we will jump into our sanding paste from Brad's workshop, or Brad's Workbench, sorry. Absolutely love this stuff, that and the tongue wax. But hey, Brad, if you're watching, running low, buddy. And like I said, we're going to hit it with the Scotch-Brite to denib it, and then we will jump right into the sanding paste, which is the equivalent of about 1,500 grit with his fine sanding paste mixture that he does. So yeah, right into Brad's Workbench sanding paste. This stuff is great, really good abrasive that will help smooth things out and take it up to the next level with that, the smoothness. Also starts the polishing process as it works in, and really helps that tongue wax that we use on the finish to really take hold and shine this baby up. As you can see, it really starts shining up. So that's just the abrasive paste. And now we will get to the tongue wax. I know that I show this and talk about this in a lot of my videos since I started using it, but I cannot get over how good this stuff works. So if you do woodworking with a lathe or other things that you can get a good polish on, talk to Brad. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. So we're going to get this tongue wax wiped onto here. Let it set. He recommends 10 to 15 minutes. The longer it sets, of course you don't have to let it set, but the longer it sets, the more it'll soak into the wood and really get that luster going. So I like to do the 10 to 15 minute range also on this, like he recommends, and it just really makes everything pop. So we'll get this wiped on and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes or so, and then we will be back to buff it off and get this flipped around and start hollowing out the bowl. So we will catch up in just a bit. All right, we're back. It's been about 15 minutes, and we're going to get this buffed in. It's a little bit offset because of the depth, so I can't turn the speed up quite as high as I would like to for this, but we'll get a good speed on it and get it buffed in pretty good, I think. But not with that paper towel. And that is exactly why you always work with paper towels on the lathe, not cloth. Man, just look at that shine. A little bit of chatoyance in the wood. I don't know if you can see that as I turn, but you'll see a little bit of flashing. That's called chatoyance, which is just a change in the wood. So I hope you can see it, but there's just a little bit in this. Nice piece of walnut. So we'll get it on the chuck and get it flipped around. So we are going to start with it with the tailstock up, just to give us more stability, just because it wobbles a little bit. So that'll give us a little more stability, and then as it smooths out, we'll be able to take this back out of the way to finish hollowing out the bowl. All right, we are going to fill in these cracks with some black CA, just like we did on the outside. Let that harden up, and then we will return that to smooth it up, and then we will get to sanding. So that thin CA glue that I just put on will seal up some of that punky area. That's the end grain that's harder to cut sometimes. So that'll just firm that up a little bit. I'll get a nice sheen, or a much nicer cut when I come back to that. And smooth that all out, and then we'll be ready to... Alright, I think we are going to start sanding. I'm going to hit it with some 80 grit, mainly because of this little bit of rough area here, and just kind of smooth out some of that glue, and there's a little bit of tool mark you can see. We'll smooth that up, and then we'll keep moving on. Alright, so the 80 grit worked pretty good. Now we're going to go through the rest of our grits. Then I'll bring you back when we're ready to do our sanding, sealer, and finish. And we just finished up our sanding all the way up to 400 grit. So we're going to hit it with denatured alcohol just to clean it up. And then we will get to our finish. Because I sanded and overlapped on the outside edge to blend it and to get some of the glue off, the black CA, so I'm going to resand just the lip of this, resanding sealer that is, and then we will denib it with our Scotch-Brite pad and get right into the abrasive pastes. And we are back. So we have the sanding sealer on. It's pretty dried up. So we'll denib it with our Scotch-Brite, and then we will get to our abrasive paste. Alright, we got our abrasive done. Now it is time to put on the tongue wax, and we'll let it set for 15-20 minutes, give or take. Basically, I'm going to run in and go to lunch, eat lunch, while it's sitting in the tongue wax. Brad, I'm still running low, buddy. Haven't heard from you. Actually, I have. Watch the video. As I've mentioned before, this tongue wax is food safe. So it is good to use. The thing is, you're using wood, so you don't want something that's going to soak into the wood or anything like that. So just be aware of that. But fruits, things like that, if you want to set them in the bowl, that works well and will not put any harmful chemicals onto the outside of your fruit. Can hold candy. This could do just about anything you would like it to do, except it won't mow the yard. It won't do any household chores. It will absolutely sit there and look amazing though. I promise you that. Hey everybody, welcome back. We are done with the project. So we got this wonderful piece of walnut from my good buddy Jim over with Garnered Wood at Instagram. I will put a link to his information down below. I've done it many times, but I will continue to do so. I got my finishing paste from Brad over at Brad's Workbench, so I'll put his information down below. Brad, still needs some stuff, buddy. At any rate, we have a walnut bowl. It is just over 12 inches across and 3 inches deep. Got a mortise cut with my logo burned into it. Food safe finish on it, and looks really good. Used some black CA to fill in the cracks to give it a little bit of character. Pretty happy with how it turned out, and I think it's going to make somebody a nice home gift. So that being said, this is going to end up being a wedding present. It's a little bit late, I apologize, but this is a wedding present to my good buddy Ross and his new wife Laura. So thank you very much, Ross. You are a great friend. You always have been, and I've appreciated it. Laura, I hope to meet you someday soon once this whole COVID thing wraps up and we can start traveling again without worries about any of that. But congratulations on your wedding. Sorry this is late, but consider this our wedding present to you. So I hope you enjoy this walnut platter. I will leave some pictures at the end with it, and I will get this shipped out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Leave me feedback in the comments down below. I appreciate it. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I've seen the channel be growing over the past few weeks, and I greatly appreciate that as we continue to ramp this up. So share the video with your friends. Let's get this channel growing, and we'll go from there. Thank you again, and everybody stay safe.